Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is Dexter Kendrick. I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to Dexter Kendrick's Soul, your place for relevant astrological advice and some really dope hip-hop soul music. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dexter Kendrick's Soul for more conversations of an astrological nature and what it means for you right here as the world turns. Today's conversation is going to be on on Mars's movement today, September 22nd, into Capricorn, where he will stay until November 9th. We know that, just to backtrack a little bit, Mars is said to be exalted in Capricorn. It is the absolute highest ranking position of that planet. Every planet has an area in the chart or a sign that helps it express itself to its fullest extent. And Mars, which we're going to talk about in just a second, is allowed to express himself extremely fully when he enters into Capricorn, where he'll be for over about 8 weeks. Mars just moved out of Sagittarius, and that's why I want to kind of backtrack a little bit to say what just took place. Mars has been in Sagittarius since March. That's an extremely long time for Mars to be in any sign, and that sign, Sagittarius, lies in everybody's horoscope in different areas of their lives. So we will express ourselves in a Sagittarian way in whatever area of our horoscope Sagittarius lies in. So you can take a look at alabe.com, find out what area of life that is for you, or you can contact or message me on Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube at Dexter Kendrick Soul and find out where that area of your chart is. I'll be happy to direct you. I'm also available for readings. So when planets come to Sagittarius, in whatever area of life it is in our horoscope, we always have to take a look at the view from the mountaintop. Certainly, Mars was in Leo at one point, and we had to take a look at how we relate to other people from the heart space. Then Mars moved into Virgo, where we had to take a look at how we're using our skill set, how we're transforming our skill set, mastering whatever craft we were naturally born with so that we can put it to good use. And then Mars moved into Libra, where we had to understand the balance of give and take. We had to understand that we don't always get our way, and that how to handle competition in a polite manner, because of course Libra is ruled by Venus. So when Mars comes to Libra, Mars was very uncomfortable there, but he had to try and civilize himself and at least put on a suit and try to play fair, try to play nicely. Then we went to hell. We went to Scorpio. Mars was in Scorpio, and we had to unleash debris, emotional debris, and previous issues that we had emotional material that has not healed yet. We had to tear away the shadow around that and bring it out into the light so we could civilize it and find out how that can energize us. We had to pull on resources that would allow us to still take care of our daily business. If we've lost loved ones, if we've had tragic events happen, if we've had unfair things happen to us in life and we've had to move on in the face of that, we have had to claim our power when Mars was in Scorpio. But Mars is also comfortable in Scorpio since he is the co-ruler of that sign. When Mars came to Sagittarius in March, we had to take a look on the mountaintop. Mars put on his monk's outfit, his Buddhist outfit, sat in the lotus position from the mountaintop and said, what was all of that worth? What was all of that? What was the meaning of all of that? Why did I have to go through what I had to go through? And what does that mean for where I'd like to go next? So Mars and Sagittarius can be a bit of a meditative sign. We begin to explore certain possibilities. It's the sign associated with long distance travel of mind and body. Maybe we took a trip somewhere. Maybe we began to be enamored with another culture, one that was different than our own. Maybe we began to be interested in politics and ethical behavior with regard to our society. Certainly we've seen that in the news a lot lately. Maybe we have begun to take a look at the areas where injustice is done and find out how we can participate for the forward movement of the society at large, or the status quo at large. Maybe we have said, where would I like to be in the next 5 years, and what are the steps I have to take in order to make that happen? Of course, Mars moved into Sagittarius in March, then moved backward into Scorpio because we had some unfinished business, just to make sure we scoured every area of blockage emotionally and even physically, if we've had some physical issues that represented an emotional issue that had not been healed yet fully. And so now that we move forward into Capricorn, let's talk about Mars. Mars mythologically is said to be the god of war, but not just the god of war, the god of standing our boundaries, being able to stand our ground and defend them if necessary, the ability to be a self in this world, regardless if the ego, in some conversations, regardless if the ego is not is not real. Regardless if the ego is a created self in order to survive in the outside world, Mars represents the personality that we embody so that we can take care of the business of our life path. And so Capricorn is associated with the destiny. It's associated with the career, with our public standing, how people see us who don't know us really well, how we appear to other people when we step outside of our house, what they see of us, what they see us doing, how we're taking care of business. And Mars represents how we go about getting what we want. Mars was only concerned mythologically with going after what he wanted. He was interested in taking and claiming what he wanted. And Capricorn is the exact same way, except Capricorn as an earth sign will do it methodically. Capricorn is very calculating, and Capricorn is extremely realistic. So while Mars may be untamed, this untamed, ferocious brute, he was said to be 300 feet tall, extremely huge and big and just clunky, not necessarily the smartest apple in the bunch. But when he comes to Capricorn, he becomes civilized, so that whatever steps we're trying to take to get what we want in life, we're able to do so in a manner that is reserved. Not everybody knows what cards we're holding close to our chest, and in a way that gives us a level of esteem. People who don't know us that well have a respect for us because of how we carry ourselves, because of what they see in us when we present ourselves to the outside world. And so Mars, from now until November 9th, is going to say, where am I headed next? Capricorn is associated with the mountain goat, who is extremely adept at climbing mountains, at having patience, the patience it takes to take the next step. Even in treacherous terrain, goats are able to make it to the mountaintop. Certainly it can be an arduous task, but Capricorn is certainly built for that because they have something called patience. And if they have an understanding of the movement that they're headed in, that is an area that of life that we will have patience in. It's also an area in your chart. Take a look at alabe.com, find out where Capricorn lies for you, or contact me on Facebook or Instagram, Dexter Kendrick Soul, and find out where this area of your life is, where Capricorn is in anybody's chart, is an area where we're said to be a late bloomer. So, for example, for Sagittarius, Capricorn is in the second house of income and resources. So Sagittarians typically have this carefree, happy-go-lucky, generous, abundant kind of a conversation regarding life. And yet in the area of the second house, when it comes to money and finances and resources, they may not be as adept at managing budgeting and restriction, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion and lofty ambition. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is a taskmaster who says we have to account for every single penny. And if we don't, it will come back to visit us at some point when we find that we're at the end of a rope. So Sagittarius is learning at this time how to manage their resources in a responsible manner. Capricorn for Capricorns is the first house of the self. So Capricorns have a tendency to be late bloomers with regard to how they see themselves. People hold you in high esteem, Capricorn, even though you may not see it. You might feel like you're just going about your daily business, just doing what it is that matters to you. But other people see that you're somebody who can be depended upon, somebody who can be relied upon. You are what is called an old soul. The Capricorn rules the age group of 70 to 82, which means that's how you act even when you're 10 years old. You're responsible. You know, if you're a part of a group or something like that, you want some kind of position of power, perhaps a treasurer or even a president. And so people begin to hold you in that regard because that's how you carry yourself. You have an understanding of, as a cardinal leadership, the four signs that are leader signs are Capricorn. Well, we'll start Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and each of those areas are associated with leading in some area. Aries is associated with leading with regard to just doing what feels right to me, the self. The selfish ego drive of I'm here, I have work to do. Cancer is associated with the family, what it means to have roots and a foundation. Libra is associated with coming out of our shell and interacting with other people, finding out how two heads are better than one. And Capricorn is associated with what we do with all of that information and find out what matters most as we're going about our daily walk. So from now until November 9th, Mars is in Capricorn, asking us to go for it. Go for whatever it is that, since March, you have begun planning. It's time to put the pedal to the metal. Mercury just came out of retrograde yesterday, which was the 26th. Mars just moved into Capricorn, where he is at his highest and most powerful. There might be a tendency toward conflict at this time, but typically only if somebody gets in your way or only if somebody begins to try and slow you down and make you backtrack. This is not a time where backtracking will be beneficial. to many of us. Everybody will have Capricorn in their sign. This horoscope is for everybody. For Cancer, it's a conversation of taking a look at how you go about getting what you want and how you interact with other people. Your relationships at this time are going to be asking things of you, and you're going to have to stand your ground if you have certain beliefs in certain areas, and it's going to be okay with regard to, you can use a certain level of diplomacy when you're telling people what it is that you want and going about getting it. Capricorn is all about using diplomacy. Think of Mars as putting on his boss's uniform. Mars is a boss right now because Capricorn represents executive power. Hope to talk with you very soon. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Dexter Kendrick Soul. Message me on Facebook or Instagram at Dexter Kendrick Soul, and I will see you in the stars.